Tell me, when you look out of the window, what do you see? It's nothing like it used to be. Mankind got too lazy.
From one world to the next. My body would shimmer in firelight as they tried to contact the spirit
frozen
world.
in place.
Cast and whole. Types of fossils to behold. Ancient.
Mother passed the daughter.
Excited but nervous. I had never been to a museum.
I ran further and further, seeking it. One of his cubs. His name was Fire.
In this case, so you want to kind of come nearer me. No, really nearer. I mean, how many of you have been to the museum before? Just 2 of you. Excellent. Good. Well, welcome.
I walked in there, I looked up and I see this massive dinosaur, and I was just like, a little smile on my face all the way down. I was like, oh, this is a museum.
I think museums are good places as starting points for writing exercises, because poetry itself is a commerce with history, a kind of engagement with time, and a museum is probably the ideal place because there are objects here from thousands of years ago, and in a sense that's perfect material for really inspiring the imagination to really engage with the world, engage with human endeavour.
My view of museum has massively changed because it was, for me, I like history, so museum was never boring for me, but it was not something where I could associate with it, with writing, because writing and history is like 2 different things. I always felt that, but now I know that yes, I can write anywhere I go and I can write about anything. I just have to know about the stuff, and I just have to get in depth with the stuff, connect myself with the stuff, just if I have to write it.
I've never really went to a museum before, so it's like the first time, and because I've went there twice now, it's like, right, I get to go again, and I'm getting more excited, and I just really want to learn more about the fossils.
Our views of museums changed a lot, I think, because
it's more interesting, the further you look.
The Thresholds project would be a chance for young people to connect with one of the museums in Cambridge, to help some of the young kids connect with poetry, and to have an opportunity to meet one of the top poets in the UK, and also to develop their own skills in poetry. And Matthew has really allowed the students to, I think, connect with modern poetry. I think he's made it real because he's a real life poet who does it full time, and they really respected that about him. There's no way that you can talk to Browning or you can talk to Shakespeare, and so the fact that you can talk to someone who's able to connect with them, I think, is really, really powerful.
I've been working with the Manor School, who've just come in and had a lovely workshop, terrific students, and that was an extraordinary experience. And often in these things they can be the most powerful experiences of all, actually, because they're the ones that remind you that poetry is of the community and for the community, and it doesn't just belong in books and it doesn't belong in libraries, but it's spoken word and it's speech, and it's the conveying of stories, really, the storytelling in the most memorable way, and that was really effective today, and some of the stories that came out were totally thrilling, I thought.
My view of poetry has changed because before I didn't think I could find inspiration in old rocks and skeletons, but now I can, I think.
I never knew that we could write poetry upon without rhyming, and then I never knew about I could write poetry upon rocks, fossils or gemstones or anything like that. Before I started it, it was how am I going to do poetry in the museum? And then now I'm okay, I did it, it's fine, it's easy, and you just have to have an eye for doing the stuff.
I go to college kind of 5 minutes away, but I've never been here before, which is crazy when there are so many sort of museums and things in Cambridge, and there are such interesting things right on your doorstep that you wouldn't come and see them more and use them.
They're not just dead objects, they're things that people have used, so they've all got a human story, so that's what makes them interesting and useful for writing.
We've always had
people coming in to use our collections in creative ways. Over on the other side of the gallery we've got a coffin that was on display in the museum in the 1950s that Sylvia Plath wrote a poem about. So we've had this long relationship between words and our objects going back generations and years, so it's exciting to continue that.
With the workshop you were able to pick things up, which you can't with most of these, so to be able to actually hold something and then write something from that I find really helpful.
The best thing was when we could just like go and explore on our own, like just go look at loads of different things without like having to do a certain thing, just look at everything.
I'm gonna write about the amethyst crystals. I chose it because I like the colors, and yeah, it's my favorite colors, and purple and grey go well together.
Gemstones emerge from volcanic eruptions, and volcanic eruptions are always pretty dark, and the ashes and everything, they're really dark and ugly and dirty. But from those eruptions you find gems, the most beautiful stuff in this world. And I think that's something amazing. It's always like I'm trying to connect it with like life and people, that it's really hard to find good people in this world, and they might be with everyone and within people, and you'll find them in crowds, but there are some gems in this world and you just have to search them. So that was like my idea.
Museums definitely seem more tangible as something you could start a piece with, and it's really opened my eyes.
I really enjoyed just looking at the amazing artifacts here and like just the free writing, but tonight this event, like reading to lots of people and listening to other people's work, was really great.
One of the things that I learnt from poetry more than anything else was that it gave me confidence to put one word after another, and to be able to speak and to have that confidence is one of the things that writing can teach you.
I think what's really essential for anybody, any age, to feel their work is valued is to have it viewed by an audience. And I think the process of curating your work, choosing what do you want to show and why.
The way that they're using the art and the words together is fascinating. It's been great working with Felipe and seeing how she works.
It's almost like they're a peer, you know. When they talk to us about our work, you know, it's not so much do this as much as it is sort of developing our ideas together, which is really cool. And I've really enjoyed having that kind of input, but from a professional kind of standpoint.
This has been a really exciting opportunity, just because it's really nice to work with other people who have the same interests as you, and working in a space like this, like a proper art gallery, it's so nice.
It was a fun experience that I've never done before.
It's a lot more awesome and amazing than you think it is.
Absolutely awesome.
I hope that they go away remembering that they can do it. I hope they go away inspired to create more, to write more poems, to create more art works. And I hope that when they look back on it in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, it'll be something that they still remember and that they think, gosh, that was an exciting time to do that. But by that stage, they'll have done an awful lot more, that it will be maybe the beginning of a path for them, the beginning of an artistic path.